through Houston, Texas, flexing, rolling through the SWAT. Repping for the city, hear him in the parking lot. Houston written across the jersey, ain't gon' never stop. Just fans got me tuning in, waiting for the drop. Astros, Texas, Rockets, Dynamo, they coming with it. When they pull up, got the city sitting on a fitted. Straight up A-Leaf, hold it down, ain't gon' never quit it. Just fans got me tuning in, let my dogs get it. Southwest A-Leaf, Texas, throw down here and it's so infectious. We ride for the Houston Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, and them Texans.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us this week. I'm Carlos, one of your hosts of the Just Fans podcast, and I'm here with my co-host, Rios. Rios, how's it going, bud?
Victory Monday. All those Jaguars and Titans fans that were hate watching, hope y'all motherfuckers enjoy the show.
And we got Poppy in the house, who was actually at the game, so most of his voice is gone. So he says, how's it going, Poppy?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm here.
Man,
fuck both of y'all.
He just hit
It was hard enough to understand him. It's worse now.
Hey, listen. It was one hell of a game. It was one fucking hell of a game. I think by the third quarter, my shit was gone. So
yeah, it was a wild game. Like not gonna lie, it was a wild game.
It started off ugly, but man, when they turned it on, they turned it on.
So what I want to talk about this is the Texans went in. What was it, 3-point underdogs, Rios? Yeah. Was that originally what they went against the Chargers, like 3.5 or 3 point, but somewhere around that line, right?
They're 3-point underdogs, which typically you don't see for the team that's at home.
Yeah.
That's basically a 6-point swing in favor of the Chargers.
Yeah, that was wild. And first and foremost, what did y'all think of the response that the Texans gave out to Rex Ryan, who went on television and literally said, by the way, this is a guy that's trying to find a job as a head coach, who went out and said that the Chargers were going to be facing a bye week. So I want to start off with Rios, because I'm sure Poppy's got a lot to say about this in his messed up voice. So Rios, what were your thoughts exactly when you initially heard Rex Ryan talk about the Chargers going off against or basically getting a bye week?
It reminds me of last year when they went against Cleveland, and they even told CJ Stroud to his face on the Pat McAfee show, you guys have no chance. He's like, all right, no chance. All right. And I was like, and I knew, like, once that came out, you knew it was going to come back to the players. And I can guarantee you someone put that shit on the bulletin board, and did they own that shit? Like, after the game, every single person, so much for a bye week. How about that bye week? Petty is my favorite color. I fucking loved it.
It was weird to say. Aziz Al-Shire mentioned that he felt like that was more for just television, just for show. I'm sorry. Before that, Poppy, what did you think about that? What did you think of the Rex Ryan situation? Not really giving the Texans a shot.
Hey, man, a lot of people didn't. So the fact that we went in there, our home turf, and the fans showed out. I was there. I seen it all, and
clearly,
fuck you guys. And we took the game to them, and we proved everybody wrong. They proved myself wrong. I went into that game thinking that, I didn't think it was going to be a blowout, but I didn't think we were going to come out victors. And the way the game started, it felt that way. But shit, I'm gladly I'll be proven wrong by the Texans every fucking time. Gladly.
No, I said the same. I sat here and said the same thing when V was here. I said that I figured that the Texans were going to keep it close. That was my initial thought. They were going to keep it close. I also didn't think that the Texans were going to come out on top just because of the way that they were playing. I said here last week on the Just Fans, when I said with V that it was going to be, I think I said 20 to 17. That's how much I kept it. And the Texans were going to lose against the Chargers, but 20 to 17. I figured it was going to be close, but man, what I felt faithful about the Texans, what I thought was going to go right was the defense, how their performance. I think Rios and I even mentioned it a few times. Hey, what can keep the Texans in this game is the defense. It's going to be up to the offense to step up, and that was it. Rios and I kind of went in knowing, hey, the defense is going to do their thing, because I still consider the Texans defense, and they proved it to everybody that was watching that they're elite. They can hang with the big boys. And honestly, that's a good thing to have. Because if you can apply pressure to the quarterback, dude, Justin Herbert had 14 pressures in that game alone. Just 14 pressures. They allowed that. And they made Justin Herbert made some questionable calls, which is something that questionable decisions, which is what Rios and I were talking about too. We mentioned, hey, if you can get to Justin Herbert, there's a huge shot because once Justin Herbert pressure, it's game over. He makes a lot of bad decisions, right? And that's exactly what the Texans did. And then suddenly, the offense starts waking up after what it seemed like a lackluster performance in the first quarter. Same thing going into the halftime, but right before they went in, guys, CJ Stroud showed up. Your thoughts, Poppy? I'm gonna start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, like talking the first half alone, I felt like the offense, it was just giving signs of like same old story we've been talking about all season. We fumbled the ball immediately as soon as we get it.
Yeah.
And, we give them great field position. We were lucky to come out of those first 2 drives from the Chargers, only giving out 6 points. Like, honestly, like the defense was the star of the show. And we saw more of that in the second half. But in the first half, I felt like CJ and the offense did struggle. However, it felt like the play calling was a little bit better. And when the lights get the brightest, we know what this kid can do, right? And I wouldn't say I feel like it took him a while to get into the game, but once it did, I feel like we just ran away with it. I didn't think it was CJ's best game. Far from it, but I feel like the O-line did a better job. And I feel like CJ took advantage of that. And we saw a lot more of that in the second half. But in that first half, going into the half, I believe it was 10-6.
Yeah.
Going into the half, I think I was feeling pretty good with the Texans overall. I was still concerned about the defense, but I was still feeling a little bit more confident going into the second half.
Okay, Rios, your thoughts, bud?
Yeah, well, first I predicted the blowout last year. I was right. Predicted the blowout this year, right again. But no, I think what really turned the game around for the offense was that play where basically it was a broken play, and they had fumble, fumble, and CJ picked it up, and you're like, oh man, he's about to get sacked, he's about to throw a pick, but no, he hit Hutchinson for a huge gain at and that I think that point on, you saw a different CJ. You saw the CJ Stroud of last season where he was making better decisions. He was using his legs. He looked like he did against when he played against what was it, TCU in the college playoff. Mm-hmm. He looked just like that, able to use his legs to pick up first downs, extend plays in the pocket, hitting guys at the right time. Like he did a complete 180 from what he's looked about the past like 3 or 4 weeks, and it gives renewed optimism going into this upcoming weekend.
And you talk about that play, dude. Beer was everywhere.
I bet.
No, I was watching it at work, and I had it on my laptop. And me and my customer were watching the game, and we were like, "Holy shit!" Like we were loud in the dealership, and people were like,
"It was loud."
I was like, we dropped the ball, and I was like, "What the fuck? Oh my god!"
Yeah, that play, wild, dude. Like I don't understand. Like it was a roller coaster of emotion. Just so I when I look back at the tape, it was CJ was trying to read the defense, and it goes past him as he's trying to read the defense. If you look at the tape, he's looking to his left, and that's when the ball goes, and he's like, "Oh no." He goes, recovers it. In hindsight, based on how the offense has been performing, I'm thinking he's going to get sacked or just run with it. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Certainly, he finds Hutchinson in the open field. And what's funny is that I think Bobby and I, we were going off. I think, Rios, you were at work. We were talking about, like, dude, ever since Denzel Perriman went out, that middle of the field was wide open. And there were times when CJ was making those throws at the beginning before, let's just say before CJ woke up, where Poppy and I were like, dude, CJ just needs to run it. He could have run it and gained like 5 yards. He could have run it down the middle and
Like the
gained
O
whatever
line
yards.
was giving him enough time to
Yeah.
make a decision, but he was always looking for the pass. And
Right.
you put it in the group chat, like he could have ran that.
He could have ran that. And then he finally starts to do it. You know what happens when you it's like you call it into the universe. That's exactly what happened, and I'm taking credit for it. No. It's just like you see it, right? Like you get to see it, and you're like, man, if CJ just ran that for like 5 yards, that gives the team some momentum and some like, hey, you know what? My quarterback is doing his thing. It just revitalizes the team, in my opinion, right? Like this, because the quarterback's going through it.
Yeah, especially because we were struggling so much with the run game in the first half.
Right.
Like
but
Mixon
then
was getting like maybe 3 yards a carry.
Yeah, but then you realize with that open field, CJ starts running the ball, right? He used his legs, which I think he needs to do more of now. I think. Well, we'll talk about that when we get more into the Kansas City talk. But like now, I'm thinking to myself, like CJ ran the ball, but also he was doing something that we've been talking about for a while. He was getting those checkdowns to Nico Collins. He was getting a little bit of checkdowns, and the short passes that was helping him out with that. And then eventually what happens? He starts running through the middle of the field. Now they have to worry about him running because people forget that CJ has some leg. CJ can run the ball. Maybe not as good as like Lamar Jackson, not as good as, but effectively he can do that. And you got to see that when he was with Ohio State at the championship game. Like you got to see some CJ Stroud use his legs, right? Well, you got to see a little bit of that, and I think that's what is needed. I think CJ needs to use his legs a little bit more, right? And also get those checkdowns. I know when we used to sit here and talk about Davis Mills and the checkdown king, I mean, I think CJ needs to do a little bit of checkdowns, right? A little bit more to supplement that run game or whatever, right? But once he started doing that, guess what started working? The run. Guess what started working? Effective passes, some slant routes. Like it started working. Like it all started to mesh, and it just took that. Like like Rios just brought it up. It's like CJ woke up, he started planting his feet correctly, and that's something that was a big issue. Every time he would drop back, his feet were like out of place. But you started seeing them like, I don't know, it was like a confidence that he just randomly got. Boy, he was planting those feet and throwing the ball accurately like he used to. It was a CJ Stroud of last season. It's like, where you been? Where you been? Welcome back. You're joining the Texans at the right time. You know what I mean? So your thoughts on that? What do y'all think of CJ Stroud's like confidence? It felt like a confidence booster.
After that broken play, he had been struggling. He had the one pick. He had under 50% completion. After that big first down, 13 of 17, 150 plus yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
he looked like a completely different quarterback.
Yeah, Poppy, your stance on CJ's confidence, man.
Like I said, I feel like he grew into the game.
Yeah,
as it was going on, and as an offensive player, if you're struggling, giving up the ball, turning the ball over so easily as we were doing in the first quarter, when your defense gives you that second chance, like, hey, we're not giving up points. We're still in this game. Go out and win it for us, right?
No.
Like I feel like the defense giving them the chance and him, making those plays and trusting the O-line, who again did a very good job in comparison to what the regular season showed us. And we know that I believe going into this game, the Chargers were like the number one scoring defense. Against the Texans. That's something that worried me. I was like, if the O-line can hold it together, CJ is going to fumble this ball, and we're going to see a lot of pick sixes into this game. But the O-line held it together, and I felt like that gave CJ the opportunity to grow into the game. And I feel like the whole team, especially in that second half, the whole team completely showed out. And the Chargers, they fucking suck. I don't care. I'll say it.
They dropped 30 of them in weeks, and
they don't suck. They don't suck.
And field goals, it would have been like a 50-point, fucking blowout.
I'm being hyperbolic, but the Chargers did like lose it as well. like I feel like their heads went down on when the Texans got the third pick. I believe like the Chargers completely deflated. They basically gave up on the game.
It was a
So
wrap
Mhm.
at that
yeah,
point.
I feel like the Texans did a really good job in staying in the game and taking the lead and holding on to the lead. Like I said, the defense was the star of the show, but the Chargers had everything, like all the talent in the world to get back into this game. They just couldn't.
I think they played a lot of really well complementary football. Defense, overall excelled, did what they could. The Texans front seven is no joke. They're nothing to mess with, and they were on it. They made again Justin Herbert feel uncomfortable, and that's the thing that. Well, hold on. Let me finish this point real quick before I move on to the next one. The thing is, like, the complementary football. Once the offense started really showing up, that's where you started seeing the result. That score ended up being 32-12. Like, it was a heck of that was impressive to me. The fact that the offense got a rhythm going. And you're talking about an offense who had Stephon Diggs, who had Tank Dell, who's literally just on Nico Collins right now. John Mechie, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, John Mechie did not have the best game out there, but Xavier Hutchinson came in clutch with that catch, and that's the thing. You didn't see much of Deontay Johnson here, maybe here and there, but I'm curious to see how he performs in the Kansas City game. But we'll get more of that when we start talking about Kansas City. Now, what I did want to mention is, that how much of a difference with that defense was with Azeez O'Shire, Christian Harris, and Henry To'oTo'o there. Like, you finally really had those pieces there. I think, is it the first time in a while? Second time, maybe, Rios? Something like that?
First time all season.
Is it first time all season? Okay. It was like the first time, and you really got to see the full ability of this Texans defense. Now, this Texans defense has went up against some of the best. They went up against, they made Josh Allen feel uncomfortable. They made
9 completions.
Yeah, honestly, the only two quarterbacks that really weren't phased by the defense for different reasons. You ready? That played at NRG. Sorry, that played at NRG. Will Levis and Lamar Jackson.
No, Will Levis.
Isn't that weird? Like, but I mean, I want to say I'm not really counting that, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
those are the only two quarterbacks that were really unfazed, really, by the Texans defense. But again, that's not having Azeez Al-Shire on there, who does make a big difference. That's the silent that's your Mike linebacker. That's the guy. That's your quarterback essentially of the defense. And I mean, having Christian Harris out, having Henry To'oTo'o, he goes full on. So the thing is, having all those, Danico Autry, Danielle Hunter,
Mario Edwards,
Mario Edwards, Will Anderson Jr. Like, that is a scary front seven. That's an elite front seven group. And oh, by the way, Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, there you go, Derek Stingley, all pro, and
all pro Sting,
a rising Kalen Bullock, who has been phenomenal as well. Guys, that's an elite defense. The way that it's number I think is a 6th or 5th defense rated in the league. 5th, right? Yeah, 5th, top 5 defense. Oh, there you go. Let's keep it a top 5 defense. That's incredible to me. Like, that is a Super Bowl winning defense right there. It's an elite defense. It's just now it's like, how can this offense keep it going? What is the key for this offense to keep going and match up to the defense? I want to hear your thoughts on that. How can this offense keep finding this rhythm? We saw a little bit of it. How can they keep it going? Rios.
It's simple. CJ Stroud. The offense goes as he goes. If he can get comfortable, he can get to a rhythm. He can show that why a lot of people were saying he was a top 5 quarterback in the offseason. we saw glimpses of that, in the second half of the playoff game, just like we saw last year against the Browns. You give him a little bit of time in the pocket, get his confidence going, keep him upright, and this kid's going to dice you up. And you saw him do it against the Chargers. The Chargers had a top 5 defense also. Like they were number one as far as defensive points a game.
Yeah.
Texans dropped. I think they only allowed like maybe 15, 16 points a game. Texans doubled, and they easily could have put up 50 points if they didn't set up field goals in the second half. But I mean, the game was already out of reach at that point, but they could have easily won by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Poppy, what do you think, bud?
The whole offensive staff needs to look at what made the Texans offense so good last year. It wasn't no big names, right? It was literally CJ Stroud, a rookie quarterback, playing the game and having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Try to take the pressure off. We know, this is year 2. We know that this season he has struggled. Whether it was because of the O-line, the play calling, whatever, he has struggled regardless. But we saw last year what he did with Noah Brown. We know what he did, with Nico Collins, got him paid. We know what he did with the whole wide receiver room.
Robert Woods was in there. Second year.
Everybody was cooking in the offense. Tank Dell, we knew he was talented, but he was, along with Nico Collins, one of the best 1 and 2 duos in the league when they were hot, right? So it's like let the kid play. Let the kid play. Don't force the issue. The play call needs to be a little bit more creative. But if the O-line can do what they did in this game, just gave him just enough time to make a good decision and not just throw the ball away.
Yeah.
I think this offense has every tool. I'm sorry. I think this offense has every tool to catch up to that defense. I firmly believe that.
I agree in that aspect. I think it's now time to, after CJ Stroud, and I think a lot of people will say when they go back and watch that game, they'll go back and see where CJ woke up essentially once he recovered that ball and threw it straight to Hutchinson. So I think from that point on, what you said right now, Poppy, as far as letting CJ have fun, I think that's what he was doing. I think they were letting him have, it's almost like street ball, for goodness sake. It's almost like letting him kind of take the reins or take control. Like it's like give him some autonomy, excuse me, on during that. Like I feel like he was able to control he was able to control a little bit more of some play calling. It seemed to mesh a little better. Like they asked D'Amico Ryans going into the second half, what just happened right there, and he said, and immediately, without even thinking about it, he said, CJ Stroud happened. That should tell you straight up that something had to have happened to have CJ get some control there, because it seems like, and I'm not speculating, I'm just saying it seems like he doesn't really have that much autonomy going in there, right? And I think that after because that's an improvised play, that's an improvised play. He was able to create something out of nothing. You saw him use his legs and go straight down the field, got that first down, and even more when they were trying to get the field goal. Like I felt like that was CJ Stroud of last season. Yeah. And I think that's what they need to do. Trust CJ more on offense. Trust CJ to get you where he needs to go. But at the same time, I think if you're CJ, you got to be smart about some of those things. Get those check down plays when you see that the run isn't working. And just, man, have fun with it. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah. I'm 1,000%
it's one of those things, getting back to basics, really.
Yeah.
Really right. Like he had that light bulb moment, and it was just going back to what he knows how to do best.
The moment he started running the ball, like, take what the defense gives you, right? If they're giving you the middle of the field,
take it.
To take that shit. 10, 15 yards, Make sure you slide. Don't fumble. We're
Ooh,
cooking.
that was I will say this though. I know that he was running. I just wish he understands. Hey, slide. Don't fall. Don't lead with your head, because That's how dudes get concussed. Like, you need to slide. Because the way he was falling, I get it. He was trying to get that first down, to reach the forearm out. But man, every time he did that, like I was like, oh boy, you know what I mean? So I just wish he would slide a little bit more, kind of like how Caleb Williams did it whenever he used his legs. And not to use Caleb Williams as an example, but I mean, if you saw Hard Knocks, you understand what I'm talking about with that. When they literally had a whole segment when they had a slip and slide, and they were showing the quarterbacks how to slide when they were running the ball.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to work on that in practice, because they probably are looking at the game film like, hey, CJ, we're going to need you to slide, bro, because you don't want a guy like Chris Jones hitting you, helmet to helmet, because you're going to be out for a good while.
Yeah, like you're losing that one. You're losing that one.
Losing that one nine times out of 10. Yeah. All right. I want to talk about, so the Texans, advance to the divisional round. Divisional round is the place where the Texans have been stuck. They cannot get past the divisional round. Every time since 2011 that they've gone to the playoffs, they cannot get out of that divisional run. This is going to be the third time the Texans face the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round.
Third time's the charm.
Third time.
And you know what? And I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's not so much the divisional. It's about who we're facing. It's Patrick Mahomes. Even though he's had one of the, I guess, worst seasons that
he's had a down season statistically.
It's still Mahomes, man. I believe the guy is like 6-0 in the divisional round, and he's like 15-2 in the playoffs in his entire career. Right? Like, and yes, they're not the most well-rounded team, the Chiefs, but they find a way to get it done. Take away the refs, take away the devil magic, take away Taylor Swift, right? Mahomes still the guy to beat in the AFC. So it's going to be at Arrowhead. It's going to be Saturday at 3:30.
Texas and the Texans playing at 3:30 on a Saturday.
That's how it is.
We showed in the regular season that we can hang with these guys. And that was even before the defense was as locked in as it is right now.
Yeah.
Hey, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
And if we can force Mahomes and them to make a few mistakes, hell, we don't even have to be like, perfect offensively. We got to get points on the board for sure. But if the defense can be as locked in as they were against the Chargers, who I believe going into that game, I believe the Chargers had the better coach and the better quarterback. But we still made them slip up, and we made them pay for it. Can we make the Chiefs pay for that? That's going to be the biggest matchup. It's going to be Mahomes against this defense.
I think so. I think that they can. I'm a firm believer in the Texans defense for the sole reason that we saw it and I'll always go back to this because one of the biggest best defensive performances that I saw was against the Detroit Lions in that Sunday Night Football game. You took a top offense in the league and you made Jared, the top offense, my apologies, the top offense, and you made Jared Goff get 5 interceptions. You made him feel so uncomfortable. He threw 5 interceptions. The only problem was the offense couldn't get a rhythm going. They couldn't get anything going after the second half. And guess what? The reason why they had those big plays and the Lions capitalized, because the defense got tired. Defense got tired because the offense kept going 3 and out. What happens? You wear out your defense. They're going to get tired. Big plays are going to happen. I kept saying before CJ Stroud had the fumble, and then he threw that amazing pass to Hutchinson. Before that, when everything was going downhill, My biggest concern was the defense is playing solid. They're playing locked in, but they're also playing aggressively, which means they're bound to get tired if they're out on the field for a very long time. If the offense keeps going 3 and out. For a good couple of drives, they were going 3 and out. And I'm thinking to myself, ooh, here we go. It's the same old story. Texans are going to get, eventually the Chargers are going to start making some plays because the defense is tired. Okay. But then they have this drive. The Texans have this drive that lasted for a few more downs. I'm like, okay, great. You got your defense, the rest that they needed, and now they can go back out there and give you another solid performance. And they did. And I think that the offense, as lackluster as they started, as time went on, they were able to balance out. That's what I meant by complementary football. They were able to balance out and give the defense enough time to rest. I think that when you're going up against Kansas City, if the defense plays as locked in as they did against the Chargers and Justin Herbert, they have a chance. As long as that offense, and I'm going to say this again like I did last week, as long as that offense stays locked in, as long as that offense finds that rhythm, you have a chance of beating the Chiefs. I know it's going to sound weird, and if this clip ever gets cut out of context, that dude said the Chiefs are going to lose against the Texans. We're a loser. No, like the internet's going to do that. No, the guy don't know ball, whatever. And so it's going to be one of those. But honestly, if you really think about it, how many quarterbacks has this defense really gone up against that have Josh Allen? Josh Allen, they've gone against Patrick Mahomes before, and guess what? I mean, Tank Dell doesn't go out, in my opinion, the Texans can win that game.
Yeah.
They didn't have much of an answer for Tank Dell until he got injured. They really didn't. They took care of Nico, they did, but they didn't take care of Tank. And then he got injured. And then that's when you started seeing that Tank Dell was open a lot. That's why I feel that the Texans can capitalize as long as Deontay Johnson is a heck of a route runner, man.
Yeah.
I think if Deontay Johnson can get open and they take care of Nico Collins, and you got Deontay open and maybe Hutch and maybe you get something with Dalton Schultz, you may have something there. You may have got a little recipe there where the Texans can use to beat the Chiefs. What is your take? Rios, I'm going to let you have the last word. I'm going to give it to Poppy over here. Poppy, what do you think? What is your strategy? What can the Texans do to beat the Chiefs?
Oh, we need to do some devil magic of our own.
Hey, Beyonce, where you at? He could be the answer to Taylor Swift.
Hey, we'll take that. Here in Houston, we'll take that. Man, like I said, man, the biggest matchup is the defense and Mahomes. Going into this game again, they're going with the better coach. They're going with the better quarterback, and they're going at home. They got everything going for them. I feel like the way the Texans win this game is if we completely take the pressure off. This is a winnable game. But in the eyes of Vegas, in the eyes of the fans, of the casuals, we are the underdogs. And I do believe that. Let's use that underdog energy, that underdog mentality, and prove everybody wrong once again. But you got to take the pressure off because we know that they're going to go into Arrowhead. It's going to be freezing cold.
27 degrees, I think.
Well, no, they're playing. So it's going to be freezing on Sunday, but luckily they're playing Saturday, so it's not as cold. It's going to be like in the 30s to 40s, I think. So it's not going to be terrible.
We'll take that. We take that. But it's still, man, it's still Arrowhead. The atmosphere over there is ridiculous. So it's going to have to be, just having that tunnel vision, stay locked in, and just play the game. Watch the tape, play the game. If we can make them make the mistakes, we know we have everything in place to make them pay for it. We've seen it.
So just a heads up, it looks by the time that they're playing at 3, it's going to be 29 degrees on Saturday. As of right now, it looks like it'll be 29 degrees. It has little snowflakes on there. So
Yeah, 'cause I think the forecast for Sunday was like single digits.
yeah, for Sunday, yes, Sunday the highest of 16, the lowest of 5 on Sunday. But on
So
Saturday, yeah, it's warmer. Sunday is like the highest of 30. Yeah, warmer. The highest of 30, lowest of 15.
it works a little bit in their favor. But no, like so you're going against the defending champions. They are 8.5 point underdogs, which
Hmm.
is ridiculous. Not that they're wrong. It's just damn. This they basically gave them no shot. Stephen A. Smith said this team has zero chance in hell of beating the Chiefs. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I
because
think
Stephen A. It's never been wrong before.
no, never been wrong.
You
So
guys always right.
I think coming from a week prior, where everyone's saying you have no chance against the Chargers. It's the Chargers. Come on, they choke in the playoffs. Phillip Rivers is the quarterback. You still give them no chance. Now you're going against the defending champions. I can see them saying, the Chiefs are going to win, but saying they have no chance is ridiculous, in my opinion. Like, you just saw what this defense has done to the guy who's going to be probably going to win MVP in Herbert. I mean, not Herbert, Josh Allen. He had 9 completions. He had one of the worst starting performances in about 50 years. So what it did to Jared Goff. Like, this defense is one of the best defenses we've seen in quite some time. They've made all these quarterbacks look below average, and they're going into to Arrowhead Stadium, hostile territory, against a team that beat them a few weeks ago. And you got a chance to get a little bit of redemption. And I think they take that, all the disrespect from the outside, that they have no chance. And I think they have a real legitimate chance of shocking the world and
Yeah.
coming out of Arrowhead with a win.
I could, what's crazy, Rios? Remember when I said every time that I pick the Texans to lose, like they win? Should I do that this week? Should I do that this week?
Keep it going.
Yeah, keep it going. Have no faith in them. No. You know what's crazy? I also did one of the things that I forgot to mention. The Chiefs haven't played in a while. They're going to be
they've been out for almost 21 days.
They've been off for 21 days. I think if you're the Texans, you take advantage of that. Come out strong.
There's going to be some rust.
Yeah. 100%. There's gonna be no matter how much you warm up, it's nothing like in game. It's the Texans need to take advantage of that for sure. That's why to me that's the key.
Their defense is fully healthy. They weren't fully healthy when they played before Christmas because you were missing Christian Harris, you were missing Alshire. Now you have all those guys, you got all your defensive tackles. You got a real chance to put a lot of pressure on Mahomes. His ankle's healed up by now, but you got a real chance to put some pressure on him. And he's made a lot of mistakes when he's faced pressure. He's had a career high in interceptions this year.
What's crazy is that when you said that, like, yes, that's true. That's the first time they've been really fully together. And I think the best part from the Chargers game is the fact that nobody walked out with like a serious injury. Everybody stayed relatively healthy. Like that was incredible. That Texans defense is scary. It's almost similar to that 2011 Texans defense. Remember that? The Bulls on Parade defense, Brian Cushing as a Mike linebacker. You had I think D'Amico Ryans was in that one too. I can't remember who was it. Was it Brooks Reed on the other side? It was like Brooks Reed.
I think can't remember.
I want to say because he was the outside linebacker, so I'm not sure if he was on there or he was on the. But then you had J.J. Watt. You had Sean Cody, you had Connor Barwin, like you had Jonathan Joseph, you had Quinn Demps and Daniel Manning also there, and then Kareem Jackson
all over. If Matt Schaub doesn't get hurt, that team wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Bernard Parler was the other guy on there. Like, dude, like they had a stacked team, and that defense is very reminiscent of this one. Like they have a stacked defense.
That defense kept them in the game against the Ravens. If Jacoby Jones can fumble that punt, they have a real chance of making their first ever AFC Championship game that season. But
and TJ Yates, the Bengal Slayer, that was another one. Yeah, you're right, Matt Schaub. I think the Texans that we've had on the show, which has just been Quentin and Kareem Jackson, they've all told us that's a Super Bowl winning team if Matt Schaub doesn't go out.
Yeah. Not just them, but even the former players, when they go on other shows, they all said the same thing. If Schaub doesn't get hurt, that team wins the Super Bowl that year.
Mm-hmm. Firmly believe it. Poppy, what's your take on this? What's your take on all this? Did you were you watching the Texans back in 2011? I can't remember. You're like young, but you don't watch.
That's kind of when I started. Like I remember I started watching the year that JJ got drafted.
Okay, yeah, okay, 2011, yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of like when I really started watching. I'm gonna be honest with you, like those first couple of seasons, I was like, I don't understand a single fucking rule. Why are they always throwing
¿Qué es
fucking
eso? ¿Con
flags?
qué se come?
What
¿Con qué
is
se come
happening?
¿Qué está pasando?
I'll be,
No
I'll be like,
entiendo.
¿Por qué ese güey está arriba de otro güey? No entiendo. Why is that happening?
pretty much,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is there 8 refs and nobody knows what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. No.
Angry gorilla noises.
But that's the beauty of it. I like to compare that because I don't think nobody's really seen that style of defense since then, and I think the Romeo Cornell one came close, but it wasn't to that level. I think the swarm mentality that D'Amico Ryans talks about it's the same. That's what they called wolves on parade back then. It's just that everybody on somebody and things like that. I think only thing would just be, even when I think about it, that pass that Justin Herbert had to Lad McConkey, where I think he scored the 80 some yard field goal. It's a good one. But guess what? It was a good pass, but he was covered. All it was one of those plays where it could have gone either way. And it went the way of the Chargers, but it was a play because if you notice that he was covered, because after that there was nothing but grass. Everybody was covered, and that's the only part because they took away everybody else. Lad McConkey is the only one that really, was a little bit slippery, would have to come out here and there. But I think the Texans defense obviously they did their job, but I know that sometimes it can be a little bit difficult maintaining one of the receivers. You cover all your bases, and then you do have to leave one guy almost out, and I think that's what they did with Lad McConkey. But for the most part, I mean, I thought even though he had that, they still contained him enough to where at least they were able to go 3 and out. So honestly, it was an exciting game to see. A nice turn of events.
It was a good game for D'Amico. He basically put his best cover corner and Stingley on Quentin Johnson, and had Lassiter and safety help on Lad McConkey. And hey, you know what? Let somebody else beat us besides McConkey. Let him get his. Nobody else did anything.
Let me ask you a question. Is Quentin Johnson ass?
He's getting closer and closer to that bus label because, man.
He couldn't catch a cold, brother.
Couldn't catch a cold in the Antarctic.
It was so bad.
It was a lot of balls that he dropped. He dropped a lot. Wasn't that the issue?
The best corner.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you got Derek Stingley covering, you're like, that was top-notch coverage. I think Justin Herbert went on a press conference and they asked him, "Hey, what was going on in that play where you passed it off to Johnson?" And then he got stopped by Derek Stingley right to convert. I think they were trying to convert to a first down, and then he got stopped by Derek Stingley, and his mind was we were just trying to get Stingley, but he ended up getting the better part of us, or something along those lines. And I was like, yeah. I'm over here thinking like, yeah.
Why would you try a first team All Pro? But no, like he made NFL history. He's the only player in NFL history to record 5 passes defense, 2 picks, and a forced fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Only guy in NFL history. Yep.
That's a payday waiting to happen.
Oh, they're about to back up the Brinks for that guy.
They're about to break the bank for him, and honestly, well deserved. Yeah. Stingley is well deserved on that contract. Like he has shown up. I think there was still like what would Stingley look like fully healthy? Here you go, All Pro,
best corner in the league.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest question marks after his rookie year. Like, can he stay healthy? And he has shown everybody the type of player he can be when healthy.
The potential that he has, like the potential that Derek Stingley brings to the table, it's crazy. Honestly, that's a great corner right there.
And he hasn't even hit his ceiling yet, which is crazy part. He hasn't hit his ceiling yet. He can still get better.
Mm-hmm. All right, so there's that. honestly, there as I'm thinking about it, this Chiefs game. I mean, how do you if you're the defense, if you're D'Amico Ryans, how do you take care of the Chiefs besides just pressuring Mahomes?
I think you have the same game plan that you had against the Chargers. You put Stingley on their second best receiver,
Mm-hmm.
Lassiter, who's a great cover corner in his own right,
Mm-hmm.
safety help on their top receiver, and you just force Mahomes to Kelsey is not the same Kelsey he was before.
He's not.
He's not.
Like he's not the game record that he was before. He'll still win some matchups here and there, but he's not the same game record he was before. But if you can take away, if I were them, I would have Stingley cover Xavier Worthy because that dude could take the top off any defense. So you put Stingley on him, and then you have Lassiter on Hopkins because Hopkins has lost a step. He's still a great, one-on-one and jump balls, but he's not going to blow past them.
He'll extend those first downs. That's what he's there for, right? Like he's just there to get those first downs.
The only one that I think the one X factor for them is going to be Hollywood Brown because he wasn't there for the last game, so he's probably going to be their X factor. So they're going to have to find a solution to try to slow him down because he could also take the top off of defense.
Mm-hmm. How I want to talk about one defensive player in particular that I know got a lot of heat from some of us here. Eric Murray with that pick six.
Man,
Eric Murray, every time I see him, he's getting better and better and better. Like he stepped up his game for sure.
Yeah, he's having a career year this year. I think because when he came during the Bill O'Brien days, they paid him like a star player, and he's not. He's a solid special teams player and great in spurts, but not starting. But he had to play a lot more than I think they would wanted him to play this year just because of all the injuries. But he's stepped it up this year, and he's made plays and made a huge play on Saturday. And I think they're going to need him to continue to make plays if they want to have a chance to get the upset.
Poppy?
Kind of like what Rico just said. I mean, Rio
Wow.
just said. I feel like
Where did that come from, Rico?
I was going to say something and I stopped myself. That's called growth, everybody. That's called growth.
Growth. He's the Eric Murray of this podcast.
And basically, I just show up and I step up. I step up.
That's his pick six right there.
No, but kind of like what Rio was saying, like because of all the injuries, we've been having to shift the team around more so than we would like. And this is one of the guys where going in, you're asking him to do a lot just because of how the Texans were playing. Like we're not scoring points on offense. Defense is going to have to carry us. And, with the secondary, especially, Jimmy Ward and all that, it's just like there's no lockdown defense besides Stingley, Will Anderson, Daniel Hunter. So this guy steps up and, his play kind of, helped. Kind of like I was saying earlier, like the defense kept giving the offense chance to get back into it, and I feel like it was just beautiful to see that develop in this game, and having players like this going into this Chiefs game is like, going into during the regular season, we would point out a lot of weaknesses on this Texans teams, the offensive obviously, but the defense as well. Dude, I am so high on this defense right now. Like, if we do lose, it's going to have to be like Mahomes being Mahomes, like that we know he can be. He's going to have to be at his very best to cook this defense.
Yeah.
Do we have any predictions going into it? Do we feel confident to even predict this type of game?
I do.
Over it.
So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think both defenses are going to do a pretty good job of, containing the deep passes. It's really going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. And I think CJ is coming in with a lot of renewed confidence. This defense is on a high right now. And I think they force a few more mistakes than Houston commits. And I think Houston Who got the upset? 17-14.
17.
Miami kicks a game-winning field goal.
Okay, Poppy, your choice. I mean, your thoughts.
I'll be honest, guys. I'm gonna be honest.
Go for it.
I feel like Rios is always the fucking positive, right?
That's weird.
Optimistic when it comes to the Texans. In real life, motherfucker is a fucking piece of shit. He hates on everything. But
He's the worst person I know, and that's saying something.
Damn.
Yeah, you should. I that came from the heart, Rios. That came from the heart. I really mean that. You should really. No, this isn't an ego boost. You should really see help.
Yeah, Rios, you are a piece of shit of a human being.
You're the most horrible person I've ever met.
But listen.
And I know Poppy.
But he's fuck you. He's super optimistic on Texans. I tend to be a little bit on the opposite side. It's gotta be balanced. Okay? Rios is thinking a low scoring, defensive, grindy game that the Texans are gonna come out on top. I see the opposite. I feel like it's gonna be high scoring. I feel like it's gonna be stupid all out. I feel like and high scoring not because of the offense. I feel like both defenses are gonna show out and both defenses are gonna score a lot of points. I'm thinking 27-31 Kansas City.
27 what?
31.
31 Kansas City. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right.
And honestly, I'm low-key just saying it because I predicted the Chargers to win and they fucking got blown out. So I'm hoping it fucking repeats itself.
Okay. Putting it up into the universe. All right. This is a tough one for me. And it shouldn't be, because in hindsight, you're like, Chiefs, definitely, 100%. Because the Texans are underdogs. They're 8-point underdogs going into that game. Yeah.
8.5.
8.5. I apologize. 8.5. So you immediately assume, oh yeah, Chiefs are at home. Texans can't get past the divisional round. Again, 8-point underdogs. All the elements of the Texans losing are there. What, Chiefs haven't lost the divisional game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All of those cards stack up against the Texans. With that being said, it's like it's hard for me to say that to do it, but honestly, I'm gonna take, just like last week. As much as I saw a difference in this team, I think the Texans can win. I do. They can beat the Chiefs. I think the defense can make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable. It's just going to fall literally on the hands of the offense. Can they find a rhythm like they did against the Chargers? If they can, I think the Texans will win. I think the defense holds up there under the deal again. But how's CJ and the rest of the offense going to perform? Are we going to see CJ use his legs and run, get those first down plays? Is he going to check? Is he going to do his check downs? Is Joe Mixon going to run the ball efficiently and effectively? Is the O-line going to hold up for CJ Stroud? Right? If they do, I honestly believe the Texans can win it. Will they? For the sake of our earlier conversation, I'm going to say that the Texans don't win and the Texans lose to the Chiefs. I want to say, let's go with, I like my prediction last week, so I'm going to say it again, 20-17 Chiefs.
Okay.
But Rios, that's me predicting as of last week.
Yeah. No.
Keep
it going.
Keep it going. So 2017.
We're counting on you to be right.
I mean, hope that I predicted the same outcome when they played the Bengals last year. I said it's game-winning field goal. I'm hoping I'm right again. Except this time it's not whatever his face is. It's Kaimi, who Beyond 50 plus, I trust him. Anything under 50,
Honestly, anything under 50, I'm like, fucking.
But honestly, like he even those, because I get what you're saying, because even when he was doing the point after, I'm like, ooh, here we go. But no, he stepped up. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention, y'all? All three phases of the Texans played well. Special teams,
2 block kicks.
2 block kicks. It was crazy that the first one didn't go the way that it needed to go, but he timed that right. He timed that ball so correctly. It was just the fact that it didn't go the way it was supposed to. And then D'Angelo Ross getting because it was the extra point. It's crazy to me. Some people still don't understand why that wasn't a touchdown. Well, it's because they were going for the point after. It wasn't like they were going for a field goal.
But it counted as 2, correct?
Correct, and that's because it's a point after. It's a point after, not a field goal.
Yeah. So that when I saw it, because I was sitting next to a few other fans, right, and we all saw them return it, and we saw that it was 2 points, and I'm fucking too busy high-fiving strangers and spilling beer on everybody
with his pants around his ankles.
And then I finally, how did you know? Were you there?
Above.
And then I finally sit down and I just look at them and I'm like, so what the fuck just happened? And they look at me like, dude, I've never seen this happen before. I think it's worth 2 points.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you why. And I'm like, you know what? I'm too drunk to even fucking understand right now.
It's the first one as before, whenever you block the like an extra point, nothing happened. But they changed the rules where if you even scores, you get 2 points.
Yep.
So it's never happened in the playoff game before. They made a lot of Saturday.
They made a lot of history. Yeah.
I don't know. I was very confused, but I was in the zone.
That's why I have a lot of optimism in this team, not just because of the defense, but that's special teams. Frank Ross has these guys,
they do
stepping up every week.
And you saw his excitement down the field when D'Angelo Ross caught that. That is like a guy that really enjoys his job. Like he was jumping all over the field. And it reminds me of like how D'Amico Ryans, whenever like they score a touchdown or they do like a big defensive play, D'Amico Ryans and Frank Ross, they're running all around the field.
And that energy gets spread to the rest of the team.
Energy, yeah,
it's infectious. They see that energy and it just reciprocates and it just fires those guys up. And you can tell like they love playing for their coaches. And we're gonna need every bit of all that reciprocation of energy on Saturday to get the upset.
So we'll say this though, and because I think this came back full circle, and I remember when this happened. Because the Texans are about to face the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to end it with this note. And gentlemen, I think you guys will agree with me on this one. When Tank Dell went down, CJ Stroud began to cry. The worst thing I saw on social media was people questioning his leadership. Why would he cry? He should be out there winning games. Because they didn't believe it. Why would he cry? Okay. I'm serious. They were in the comments. Like the comment section went off on CJ portraying him to be this dude, and it's baffling to me.
Portraying him to be a weak, not a good leader.
Right, weak, not a leader.
Man.
I hope those same folks saw what happened on Saturday. What kind of leader CJ Stroud can be to lead his team to come back and be the type of player he was. Because to me, that was a leader. And I think you're going to see that on Saturday. I think you're going to see a leader step up, run when he needs to, use his legs, and be smart about his football, And I think that's what's going to happen. I hope those people watch that game, and I hope if the Texans do defeat the Chiefs, I want to see what those people have to say in their comments. Because I'm pretty sure the tables will turn, and they're going to be the ones crying.
I'm going to be a complete menace if we pull up the upset against the Chiefs. People are going to have to block me because I'm just going to completely unhinged.
Papi, any final words?
Fuck Kansas City. Fuck your favorite team. Fuck the Saints. Fuck the Raiders. Fuck the Yankees. Who else? Who else needs to get it? Fuck you, Carlos. You know what you did. Fuck your cat Rios.
Dude, not the cat.
She's 2 months old.
She's looking at you like, why is that man? Why can't that man talk? That's what she's saying right now?
She's like, why is that gorilla cursing me?
You know that 50 Cent clip? Like, what he said fuck me for?
What I do?
No, I'm not going into this game confident, but I am hopeful, however, that the Texans can pull the offset. Like you guys said, third time's a charm. Hopefully now we can get out of the divisional. And I believe, dude, getting out of the divisional for how this team performed during the regular season, records be damned. That was one of the most scariest fucking 10-7 or whatever the fuck we ended up being.
If they can get out of the divisional, the season's a success at that point.
Correct, 1000%. And we have so much more to build on for next year. But if we can be the reigning champions after they just went 15-1 or 16 or whatever, was it 15-2 that they went?
No, yeah, 15-2.
Yeah. If we can be the reigning champions after the season they put out, who says we can't win the whole goddamn thing?
If they make it to New Orleans, I'm getting a second mortgage. I'm gonna find a way to get to that game.
Take the cat with you.
Yeah. You're gonna see us begging for money on the streets. We'll be there.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for us this week. Tune in next week, and we shall see the results of the Texans versus Chiefs divisional round in the playoffs. So you're either going to see Rio's drunk or Rio's drunk. Either way, that's going to happen.
Drunk and happy or drunk and filled with limitations.
There you go.
Preferably
All right, guys.
the first one.
Exactly. All right, guys, that's going to be it for us, like I said. So please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel at JustFans22. And, of course, our Instagram account at JustFansPod. Again, thank you guys for joining us. That'll be it for us this week. Peace. There you go. That's what I was waiting for. Oh, yeah, end it.
Southwest A-League, Texas, throw down here and it's so infectious. We ride for the Houston Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, and them Texans. If you ain't never been down here, but rule number one, you gon' respect us. Just fans in my speakers, new one drop, they bout to bless us. I might right through the SWAT, playing just fans right through your spot. Look, and I don't know what you thought, but right here, dog.